Hello everybody and welcome to the Sport Chronicler. My name is Tarai and I'm going to delve into what can only be described as a shambolic defensive performance against Spurs. It's sort of a channel I've had in the back of my mind for a while to do, and I've sort of just held it off for reasons. But I was looking at the game, the replays, and live I saw certain things, and I was just thinking, I'm slightly worried about Emery 1, and I'm gonna cover that in another video at a later date. But as soon as I saw that team sheet against Spurs, man, I was looking at it and it's like formation wise there's not really an issue at all. But when I looked at the personnel, I'm thinking, this is Spurs we're playing. We know the quality that Spurs have, and I'm an Arsenal fan, but I'm not so biased or bigoted to not be able to say that. So Leno, yep, that's fine, whatever, goalkeeper. First problem, look at this back four. Maitland-Niles, and I'm not saying he's a bad player, but he's a central midfielder slash a right winger, right? Why the fuck do we keep on playing him as a goddamn right back? He cannot play the position. He's shown it over time. He's great for cover, but he can't play the position. Sokratis. And Sokratis is another one. There's a question mark over this dude now. And my issue with Sokratis is he just seems to just turn into a madman and moment's notice, so you don't know what you're getting with him. He's solid 95% of the time, and then he's just a lunatic. David Luiz. Now, when we signed Luiz, I was kind of like, it was mixed, man. I was like, okay, he's got experience, and on his day, David Luiz can be Chiellini, or he can be Mustafi. So it's not really fixing anything. It's a stopgap, fine, but it's not the answer. Cool, they've managed to get a stopgap, fine. Kolasinac, a player who we know cannot defend. Torreira, fine, that makes sense, but he's playing in front of Xhaka on the right when he's a holding midfielder. Why don't you put Torreira in the holding midfield position that he can play and put Xhaka further forward? And if he's too immobile to play further forward, then guess what? I don't understand what on earth the obsession is with this player, with Wenger and now Emery. And this is where I've got question marks with Emery. But why? Why, if the dude is too slow and too immobile to play up front, and he can't get back to front, left to right, whatever, and he's also too shit to play defensively, then shocker, he can't play in the midfield. If he can't play in the midfield, then he can't play. Fucking drop him, particularly in a game like this. Guendouzi I was happy with, then the front three, cool. And also I've just noticed, looking at it now, we only made 2 substitutions in the game, which I didn't realise. And it took Emery the 60th minute, I remember, to start changing things anyway, which I was like, what's wrong with this dude? Like, when he first came in, he would make changes, 4 changes? 3 changes straight away, 45 minutes, and change up the game and win it. I don't know why he's lost this reckless ruthlessness, but ignoring that aside, I don't understand why Willock was dropped. And again, it's because they have an obsession with playing Xhaka. Torreira should be starting there. If you play him in a position he's supposed to play in, and you tactically put him at the base of midfield where he's meant to play, put the dude there. And then it's a choice of, okay, I can't really drop Xhaka or Guendouzi, but you can. Just drop Xhaka because he's shit. But no, we could have had Ceballos or Willock in there. Either one of them would have provided more going forward, and Willock can carry that ball more. I don't know what he was doing with his team selection. But one thing that really bothered me when I watched the AFTV fan cams and stuff like that, and even pundits and the Sky Sports, they gave David Luiz a 7 out of 10. 7 out of 10. Now, Sokratis was at fault for the first goal. But watch this replay that I'm going to go over of the first goal. The whole back line was responsible, and it comes down to Wenger. Comes down to Emery. Why the hell do you keep on making these same stupid mistakes now? I don't want him out. I like him, he's a good manager, but I'm not being funny. If he doesn't get top 4, and if the manner of us not getting top 4 is because Xhaka, Sokratis, David Luiz, Maitland-Niles is getting played out of position and making mistakes, if these are the reasons why we keep on losing games, then he's not changing. And I don't get why he's not changing things. Like, don't get me wrong, we were on that unbeaten streak last year and all the rest of that. And I do think if we had Holding in the back and Bellerin, the team would be a lot different. But then again, I probably said it before, I definitely would have said it again. This is I don't get why they didn't just sign a right back. They couldn't get a proper centre back. Okay, I doubt that they couldn't have got one centre back, but the funds were limited and we sold Iwobi on deadline day, so cool. But we knew that right back was going to be a problem, so I don't know why we're just holding out with Maitland-Niles indefinitely until Bellerin comes back, when we could have just tried to have signed, you know, a right back. But anyway, that's a tangent and a conversation for another day. Back to topic, just look at David Luiz, just look at him on the first goal, honestly. Right, so as usual for Arsenal, we just had a shot on their goal. So you can see him right there. They get a couple of passes, the press works, it goes back to the goalkeeper. Goal kick comes flying out. Let me pause it right now. What the fuck is Sokratis doing? What the hell is he doing? Why has he decided to push up there when Xhaka's competing for the ball? And this has been covered a lot and a lot of people have said it, but that's not my main point. Immediately when I saw him coming, I said, we've got an issue here. Look at the back line. Look at the centre circle, right? That centre line there. Kolasinac is right at the top of the screen there, next to that Tottenham player. What's he doing? I'm just so confused. And then looking at this logically, with Sokratis pushing that far forward, he's actually in line. Maitland-Niles has stayed deep, and David Luiz is so deep he's not even on the screen. Why is he? Do these players not understand that you just play in a back four in a line? Like, you just line yourselves up a line with one another. I don't get it. And I don't understand what Emery's been doing on the training pitch, because Maitland-Niles hasn't got this. He hasn't improved positionally or tactically at all as a right back, because he can't hack it. So if you can't hack it, why are you not playing Callum Chambers, who's a defender at the very least? I'm not saying he's going to come in and be sharp. It may have been a calamitous error, but Maitland-Niles is getting skinned in these games left, right and centre, and as soon as he was selected, I said Son is going to eat him. He's going to do him. He's going to destroy him. And he did. Time and again he got beaten. But, so looking at this back line right now, Sokratis has pushed forward when he doesn't need to, cool. But if he pushes forward, you three back there have either got to get in a solid line, and David Luiz is back there. He's just so fucking far back, he's not on the damn screen right now. But you should clearly say, right, we've got to push up as a back four. Then I don't even know if that Son, whoever it is going to be offside. So it's not an issue. It's not an issue, and he's going to have to scramble to get himself back onside. And at least we're a solid unit of four, and we can cope with it properly then. The one thing Maitland-Niles has got is pace, so he might be able to cover in. Kolasinac can cover, because David Luiz and Sokratis aren't exactly the quickest players. Or worse comes to worse, you just take him out. But no, this is what happens. Now if I pause it there again, you can see David Luiz is in shot, and Harry Kane, I think it was, has won the ball. So the only reason why they're able to play in, whoever that dude is there, I can't remember if it's Son or Lamela, that Maitland-Niles is there, is marking. The only reason they're able to play him in is because the back four is so shambolic, and David Luiz is what, 5 yards too deep? Why are you 5 yards too deep? What are you doing? Like, I'm not being funny. Sokratis is the reason why they scored here, because if he hadn't come forward and stayed in position, it wouldn't have been an issue. But David Luiz contributed just as much to this, if not more, to be honest. So I press play. So right here, if Maitland-Niles a clown had pushed forward, and David Luiz had pushed forward as well, he would have been offside. You wouldn't have been able to play him in if they'd stayed in line with Kolasinac, who was too far forward himself, but oddly enough, through his bloody fuckery, happened to be in line with Sokratis. Now look at Maitland-Niles here, right? You got Kolasinac there on the left, David Luiz there. There's two players. Why is Maitland-Niles in that space there when there's a runner on the outside that he clearly hasn't seen? David Luiz, I don't know why he pushed up forward there. He shouldn't have been trying to get into that gap, because the problem was behind him. Kolasinac should have that space, because now you've just introduced the team to a 2-1 situation for no reason. Continue the ball. I still don't think Maitland-Niles knows that there's someone outside of him. I didn't see him glance over his shoulder once. He may have done, because I'm looking at it on my little editing screen, so I can't tell. But I don't know what this dude's doing. I don't know what they're all doing. But he should have been covering that space. And when you see the shambolicness that I'm talking about, when I covered it from the earlier position, Maitland-Niles has gone in too far inside. David Luiz has pushed up to try and... I don't know what he's doing. If you were going to push up, you should have pushed up earlier, and you shouldn't have been so fucking far back to begin with. And why can't these players just play in a solid line of 4? Is it that difficult to just stand in a line of 4? Idiots. And I remember Vermaelen used to do this all the time in the back 4 as well. And it always used to happen, result in these calamitous moves right here. He always used to try and push forward to win something up the pitch. And none of them would push forward in shape or maintain a shape as a free. And they'd get in behind us, and it's the same shit again. So it's kind of funny. I was actually just about to move on to the second goal, but I found something else on the first goal, which was, of course, Prince Xhaka in the middle there. So this guy is meant to be the captain, which I still find disgusting that he's the actual captain of this club. It's ridiculous. But so to prove just the amazing captain material that he is, look where this dude was for the first goal. So he's just lost the header, right? Where does he run? Instead of being as the holding midfielder that's supposed to be at the base of midfield in that hole where the gap is, instead of running into that space, he goes and chases flipping Son, who's running on the outside on the right when there's a left winger covering him. What's this guy doing? Defensive midfielder. You're meant to be in front of the back 4. What? He can't run anyway. He's slow as hell. So I don't know what on earth he's doing chasing Son. And the guy doesn't think. He just panics. He just panics, reacts, and just runs around like a madman. It's just unbelievable. And then look at his response to when the shot gets off, right? Everyone else still has a delayed reaction in comparison to the Spurs players. They still slow down when Leno gets the shot, which just tells you the mentality that we're dealing with here. But everybody else is running towards goal. He just stops running and sort of, oh no, we can see the goal. Captain, Arsenal Football Club, are you serious? Like, it's not even... I don't understand what it is with this guy. And I'm not even here to try and rant or anything. I just don't get it. I don't understand why he plays. I don't know what he does for the team. So then we move on to the second goal. And there's two suspects here. One is Maitland-Niles. And again, I have no issues with him as a player because he's not a right back. So he shouldn't be playing at right back. Callum Chambers played at right back for Arsenal for a while, if I'm not mistaken. So with him coming back to the club, I don't think he's an amazing player, and I think he'll probably be sold. We'll see, but him compared to Holding, if Holding comes back fit, and by fit I mean not with his career in tatters, Holding is a better defender by a million years. But I would prefer to see Callum Chambers as a right back than Maitland-Niles, at least in some of the high profile games, definitely. Or maybe even put Maitland-Niles and Callum Chambers and just double back on the right and leave Pepe on the bench. I don't know, something to actually have some fucking defense. But so the whole goal, and I'm going to play this one in slow motion so I can talk over it as I'm recording. It's easier to do it that way. So here we are, here's the scene. This coincidentally was from a free kick that Lacazette gave away. How they managed to get up this far at this passage of play anyway. So here we go, I'm playing it in 25% speed. Now watch Maitland-Niles. Watch him get done, like I said he would. I knew he'd be getting done on the wing, because he's not a right back. Particularly against a team like Spurs. Twisted him inside out, done. How easy was that? Now watch Granit Xhaka. And watch Sokratis. Pepe is in that space. So you don't need to be in that space, you need to be marking this guy. I don't know what's going on here. I don't know who's marking him, and I don't particularly know what Guendouzi's doing back there. He's not really helping anyone out, to be honest. If he should be anywhere, it should be in this space here. But he's back there. Maybe he's meant to be blocking these runners coming in here, but from the way he's just standing there looking at it, it looks to me like he's just watching, when you should be actively in that area. Someone needs to be in that area, basically. Someone has to be there. He maybe even should be standing at least closer to it, but he's not. And then because he's so far deep, and nowhere near the man he's meant to be marking. Pepe, maybe he could have got something a bit better on that ball, but whatever. He's sort of helping out Maitland-Niles. They could have doubled down on him properly instead of, oh, I'll run in once he bloody gets past him and the ball gets crossed in. That's helpful. But there's no reaction off of this three, basically. These three are just in the incorrect position, and those two are just getting skinned on the right because they don't know how to defend. So look, Guendouzi is still just standing there on his tiptoes. He could have easily cut it back and passed to him. This Muppet don't even know he's there. I don't know what the hell he's doing. Sokratis is still there. Look how slow he is to get into that space. Who covers? Wonder Man. And then, like I was saying, I didn't even pay attention to this goal when it was live, to be honest, because I was kind of irritated. But the pass came out to him and this Muppet's still just standing there instead of marking people. So it's just a shambolic mess all around. And then look, what's Sokratis doing again? If Xhaka's like, he's just reacting. He's not anticipating anything. And Torreira's the guy that actually gets something on the ball in the end. And Torreira should have been playing where Xhaka was playing in the whole game. But what was Xhaka doing, man? Just what was he doing? There's no more that I'm going to say on it. That's the video done. I just don't understand what these players are being taught tactically. I don't know what's going on the coaching ground for the defenders because it's the same BS over and over again. And Guendouzi was not the best defensive player at all last year in terms of positioning. He's got better at it, so I don't have any issues with him. I actually have a ton of Guendouzis on Football Index, which are rocketing right now, so I'm happy with Guendouzi and I'm going to be buying more Guendouzis. But it just comes. I don't know what Emery's doing anymore, to be honest with you, and it's kind of concerning because in the first season it was a free pass. In the second season, I was thinking, I know it's not going to be perfect. I would always think it's at least a 3-season job to get any team from 5th or 6th place up to challenging for league titles, or at least being solid, threatening teams in the top 3 with good budgets and good transfers. And I don't get where, I don't see where the team's going. I don't see progression. The only player that I see who has actually progressed is Maitland-Niles. Not Maitland-Niles, sorry. Guendouzi. And Leno's still making mistakes here and there. I don't know, maybe he's just a player that's kind of mistake prone, but then he does get exposed all the time with Arsenal, so I don't really know. But yeah, I just don't know what this club's doing, to be honest with you. It's just it's a tiny bit concerning because it's not even me panicking. Fine, we've got next summer transfer window, that's cool. Hopefully we'll be able to do some shit if we're in the top 4, but if we keep on playing like this, we're not going to be in the top 4. And Emery keeps on making stupid decisions. I don't know why he's scared to make substitutions, and he keeps on getting the selection or the tactics wrong. Look at Liverpool. His tactics were perfect because we could have had a couple of goals. We had very good chances against Liverpool, but come 2-0 down, thanks to Starman and David Luiz at the back, you have to make three changes at half time straight away. And people were slating him for taking off Ceballos. I would have taken him off earlier because he was dwelling on the ball. It was like he was playing at Burnley. He was trying to do too many twirly whirl, turny, touchy, nice little dribbling touches, this, that, the other. It's his first proper experience of a derby, a high-intensity derby in England, so fine. But I would have taken him off earlier. But I didn't want this to go over 20 minutes, and it kind of has on my record, and I don't know how long the final thing will be, so I'm just going to end it there. See what the hell happens next week. See what happens this season, because this defence is just shocking, man.